Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have this Canon PowerShot SX10 IS. So basically this is a 10 megapixel camera and it has 20 times optical zoom. So basically this is actually a mini bridge camera, and also this camera is actually pretty awesome, and also it has a selfie screen, which makes this such a unique piece of work. So previously I reviewed the 100S, so the 10S is the slightly more higher end version. It has a longer range zoom and it has a flip screen, so that is like the best part of all. So megapixel wise, it's the same sensor, etc. And with a higher megapixel, and a higher end camera, you will use more batteries. So this camera itself is taking up 4 AA batteries. So this is how you load up the batteries for the camera. And you just remember to press it down in. Then not forgetting that this camera is using SD card, so you need SD card for the camera to work. So I'm just shooting in demo mode, demonstration. So I just turn it on. So whenever you set up the batteries and all these things, they will ask you to press to set up, to change the date and all. So this is like the settings, the camera, how it looks like, etc. So to take a photo, simple, you just half press the shutter button here. You can just take a photo, but I just tell you that you cannot record because there is no built-in memory, as well as there is no SD card inside the camera. So to zoom in is basically this thingy here. It's like the right is to zoom in, and it can tell you roughly like the zoom range and all these things. So with this, you have a equivalent of 560 mm zoom, which is really good. So for this zoom and all, it's quite fast to reach to the angle, but however, the step zoom wise, I would say is a little bit tricky for this camera. Like you have to zoom in a bit like that to look through. So you have a fast zoom, you can see through. Then we also have like the various mode dials onto the camera. We got program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, manual, and we got custom. Then over here we got auto mode. Then we got the portrait, landscape. Then we got this is actually the night shot, basically night time, sports mode, scenery recognition. Then we also have this over like creative exposure shots. Then we got video mode as well. So likewise, I'll just go to program mode because you can have full settings for the cameras. So for this camera, you will need to use the flash button to pop up the flash. So these are actually the flash settings that you can go through. So basically just leave out the flash, then whatever photos you take will be flash. Then you press this. It's basically to adjust between the force flash or auto flash. You may be wondering, how about no flash? Simple, just close the thing down, then you don't have flash off. So if you push it up, basically you activate the flash. Then this is some shot with flash. So to activate the flash, you just put force flash, then you just half press it. It won't tell you there's any indicator to tell you that there will be flash and all. So you just have to bear in mind. There you go, there'll be a force flash here. So likewise, this is where you can adjust around. There's also manual focus for you to adjust around by using the ring. Then you have to pay attention to this. Basically, this is like at what length, at what meter your object will be in focus in. So you have to use this ring dial to adjust it around, up and go down, which is pretty amazing for this camera. Then you press it again for autofocus and all. Then you press the right button here to adjust the ISO for the camera. We got the maximum of 1006 all the way to up to 80. High ISO means that you boost up the highest. Then over here, 0 in red, the top here means that how many seconds you can take the video for, and how many photos you can take. So these are all the various mode dials. 640 is basically the video quality. This button here is basically the image size. It's the image mode, and it's on the anti-handshake mode. So on the left is whenever you can activate macro mode, or can do like landscape, or can do like super macro. So depending on like what kind of things that you like to shoot with. So normal is just plain normal. Then you press down is for the like the various kind of like shutter. So you got single shot, you got continuous like sports mode, continuous shooting of autofocus, face self timer. So you detect a face, it's self timer, then 10 seconds self timer, single shot, etc. So likewise, if you press the function set button here, this is where you can adjust around the white balancing. So you can make your picture looks like more orangey, more bluish, depending on what you like it. If you press the down button, this is where you can have the color filters that's available for all the Canon cameras. There's even black and white filters as well. Then you press down the button here is to move around between the various type of filters. So to set the filters that you like, you can press either set or you can press the down key to activate it. For example, I go to my color filter off, you can just display as off. So bracketing is basically like you can bracket around like your exposure. It means they take one at the plus minus 0.3 range and all these things. There's also a focusing bracketing as well. So that means it takes the same shot 3 times with different exposure or different focusing depending on what you select. Then there's also a flash compensation where you can increase the flash or you can decrease the flash power up to your selection. This is something that's very creative about which I like about camera. Then we have the light metering, and evaluative means that you evaluate throughout the whole thing. There's also like center weightage means they focus on the center, and also spot metering. Then this is for the video quality. We can shoot at 640 30 frames per second or 320p. So do not note that if you're sitting at 320, you are compromising on the video quality. Then lastly, we have the image size. With large, you can take lesser photos. So if you go for medium, you can see that the aspect ratio has changed. The megapixel has been reduced. And then if you go down to S, means the lowest quality, you can take a lot more photos. So this is how you set about. Then if you like to remove all this display, just press the display button here. Then you can have like an electronic viewfinder view, or you press the display again key to minimize your display. And then if you press again, it's for full display. So depends on up to you liking. Then if you press the menu button here, this is where you can adjust around the camera settings. Then you use this button here to navigate around. So these are basically the camera settings. Then you must go, if you want to go up to change the settings, you make sure that you are on this highlighted range. Press the right key. This is basically for the general camera settings, like the brightness, the language, etc. Then we have the theme for the camera and my menu settings, so up to your liking. Then if you want to go back to shooting mode, just simply press menu button to hit back again. Then over here we got the playback button here, so this is where you can play back your photos. Then we got this is basically like if you ever hit back again, press back to go back to shooting mode. Your practice is basically for exposure compensation, whether you want to reduce your exposure to make a photo look darker, or you want your photo to be brighter by just adjusting the wheel. And whatever settings that you like will be all displayed right to the settings here. So you press this to exit up the exposure value. Then you press right here is to adjust up change the size of the frame. So that's all about it. Then when you go for video recording, this is where you record your video in. This is for you to connect your camera to the printer to print out your photos. So likewise, overall this camera is pretty decent. It's like a bridge camera, which I really like it a lot. So in terms of handling wise, I feel that this camera is still very decent. Let me just turn it off. Then this is where you put in your SD card inside the camera. Then this is basically like your camera, the USB. You can use the USB V3 they call it to transfer the photos from the camera to your laptop or to your smartphone, depending on which is more convenient for you. Then likewise, this camera is pretty awesome. So if not, you can use an SD card reader. So that's all for today's walkthrough for this Canon PowerShot SX10 IS. I hope this video find it useful for you. Please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and follow me for more contents on cameras, as I'll be uploading more in the days to come. And I see you again soon. Take care and goodbye.